This is the LDS temple in Salt Lake City, Temple Square. Notice there's 3 spires on each side, a 3 and a 3. When we try and look at the detail on the buildings, you'll notice that it's blurred out. And I don't know when that started, but it used to be that Google drove around with cameras and see what's in the windows. You don't see the symbols. There's no symbols. This is just a nondescript 3D model that they've replaced the actual building with. Why would they do that? It's interesting. Notice the blue oval with the iris in the center, I guess. Looks like an eye to me. There to the left. So now, why do you hide the symbols that are on the temple? Are there no symbols on it? I've been here before, so I know what's on it. Obviously, this requires a little deeper look. What do we see over here? Who knows? Is that a sun with a pyramid underneath? It's orient to north. What do we got over here? Is this the Heaven's Gate symbol? Alright, so down the road, here's the Capitol building for Utah. Same type of 3D model. I don't know when this started, but apparently it's, I don't know, I guess it's widespread now. So let's take a look at some pictures, see if we can find out what any of those symbols are. There's a lot of distant shots. This is to the perfect angle where you can't see what's in those windows. Is that a coincidence? Distant shots again. There's a Star of David in that one. I'm not sure what that building is. There's an eagle on top of a sphere. And then there's a column. I guess that column's gravity. So that's a common Masonic symbol. You see that in their temples and everything. Over all the windows, there's always an arch, which could be representative of the dome over our heads from the Bible, the firmament in the Bible. So here's some suns. Some of these might be moons. Alright, so the phases of the moon are super important. Would you like to learn more about those phases? It's kind of hard to tell. Sun, 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 sun. Let's see. Sun, 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 sun. Row. Here's a whole row. And then, oh, there's another, and then there's another entire row, and then. So are suns important? You know, it might be. Do you know your religion if it has a bunch of symbols on it that you don't know what those symbols are about? Super distant. Notice you can't see what's in the windows. Is that by design? Is that an accident? Sun's right there in your face, you know, so you can walk right up to it and be like, oh, hey, look at that. Right in your face. Not just some decoration up on top for people to see. It's for you to go up and look at and be like, hey, wait a second. There's hundreds of suns here. Hundreds. So it might be pretty important to learn about the sun. What is the sun? Do we know what the sun is? Have we been told what the sun is? If we have not, it feels like these people seem to act like they know what the sun is. And they're all over the place. Look at this. Look at this. Can you design a building that has actually more suns on it than that? I'd be interested. I would be interested. We'll just go for, per square foot, can you get more suns on your building than these guys have on theirs? So the 3 spires may or may not have heard 33 is pretty important to these guys. Seems to allude to a third of the fallen angels. The common theme in media and headline stories, 33. You'll hear that number all the time. So up on top you've got I believe that's maybe Moroni, Angel Moroni on top of the ball, the sphere. So there's a guy on top of the ball, and he's the one in between God and the rest of us here down below, I guess. Still can't see what's in the windows. Of course, these are the Google Earth images. So does someone take care to make sure that the wrong thing doesn't show up? Look, here we got another oval. And we move up here. Did we see that one before? No, I'm not sure. No, we didn't. We saw the one below. And then there's also the dome right there, that silver dome. So what is it with all these domes and eyes? Notice it's next, just down the road from the planetarium. Just a block or two. Guess who probably owns the planetarium? Someone right here. Here we've got another one of those eye symbols. What do all these eyes mean? Could it be a reference to these Bible verses? Scholars accept that these are a reference to the Antichrist, so is that why these eyes are popular? Is that why we find eyes at the top of the pyramid with rays coming out of it like it's the sun? Sun worship is Satan worship. So you'll notice this is the Capitol building. There's another one of those eye symbols, and then also with the separated circle into, it looked like 8 sections. We'll see that later. This is right down the road, Cathedral of the Madeleine. So as we look at this building, basically, are we looking at the same stuff? Are we looking at suns? Are we looking at whatever's in those windows? What are we looking at? So again, they kind of blocked off the symbolism. Make sure though, this is a Catholic church, Salt Lake. It was designed by a Catholic. So it was not designed by the same. Brigham Young built the temple when they got to Deseret. They made it the state of Deseret. It eventually became Utah. It was the first theocracy in the United States. Well, it was technically not within the United States yet because it wasn't a state yet. So this is attached to that Catholic. All right, back to the Catholic Church. You'll notice the 3 and the 3 again. We're seeing a lot of arches, which are representative of the dome. We see all these triangles here. Triangles are a symbol of masonry. Pythagoras was, I guess, one of the first teachers of masonry. So we've got all these domes, all these arches. You know, you could say that arches need to be over the windows, but what about on the columns? You got all these circles. We don't know what's in the windows. These circles, are they suns? I'm not sure. That one in the middle, the big one, sure looks like a sun. You got all these arches, though. And do they need to be there to support a window or something? No. They're just for design. They wanted to design domes. So they did. So between the dome symbolism and the sun symbolism, Here is the Good Samaritan program run by Catholics. Very similar, works is how you get to heaven through the Catholics, the same as with the Mormons. Same type of thing. And I agree that works are important. Spreading the truth is important. Things are important. They don't have to just be Christ, but when it's an alternative, you should be cautious. This one's got some circles. Let's see, there's some domes that don't even need to be there. There's anything else here? This one isn't heavy on it, on the symbolism. This building here has a Star of David there in the window. So that building there, I think, is actually the Protestant building next door, which is I'll look at it. So this is the Catholic Diocese. Notice their number. It's 303. That's also the area code of Denver, which has been kind of known as the capital for these people in America. There's another I, though, you'll see. It's, you could say that it's just a design feature, but do you have any of those at your house? Do any of your friends have any of those at their house? Can't quite tell what those symbols are. That's the Presbyterian Church. So let's take a look at their symbols. That's their logo, it looks like. These are Protestant, which they broke away from the Catholics after the Protestant Reformation. These are, I think, followers of some of Calvin's teachings. So it seems pretty apparent that he was actually just a Catholic and not a follower of Luther at all. This is why we find heliocentrism spelled out in the Book of Mormon, even though it's not in the Bible. So apparently this is what they advertise as the meaning of their symbol is: the cross, the pulpit, the dove, the fish, the cup, the fire, the book, and the Trinity. That could be right there. Can't quite make it out. That wagon wheel window definitely resembles spokes like that of the sun. There is again the dome. More domes. The center of their cross has a circle in it. There's markedly less of the sun symbolism on this building. This is St. Paul's Lutheran Church in Connecticut. A lot of the Lutheran churches are not connected, so when we see all these sun symbols on this church, it doesn't necessarily apply to other Lutheran churches. However, I mean, what are we seeing again? This is their official website. We got a sun. That's all they have on the front of their temple. They got some more arches. We got a moon. Now, don't pay attention to the words. That's how people can lie. Okay, these symbols mean everything. All right, so when you see sun, moon, go down further. Look, they've got a rounded off Earth. You never see that. You don't see that in a high altitude balloon. It's impossible to see that because the Earth is flat. But that's what they've got on their website. So do these guys know? Yeah, they do. Alright, so what do they got here? Big old ball Earth. You got a ball Earth that big and you can't tell that it's a painting? Are you kidding me? You got the long flowing robes, spoken against in the Bible by Christ.
They got volunteer stuff over here. What else they got over here that I missed? Alright, so donate. I think they're giving all that money up. Donate to their cause. They've reached almost $500,000. So, what do we see in this? Look where the sun is. Is that the spot where the sun should be? Yeah, sure. Up at the top. You know, what's up here? The lamb. So is that Christ? Assuming it is. So this is heaven up here. There's that symbol, which I don't know. I don't know what that is either. But that looks like a sun with the sun rays. Other kind of stuff can we see from this? Look, another opportunity to throw a globe in there, huh? Heart globe. Alright, so if you've read Jeremiah, what is it, Jeremiah 10, about Christmas trees, you know that Christmas trees are not a Christian thing. I mean, the reason why they do the Christmas trees is so that when you read your Bible and it says no Christmas trees, and then you go to the Church of Man that you're associated with, they're common, they're super common, then this is what you end up with. Okay, this is evidence though. Do these people know? Probably not. Maybe. Maybe one of them knows. The congregation has no idea. Basically, they're just preyed upon by people that do read their Bibles. The people that don't read their Bibles get preyed upon. They're either not reading their Bibles or they're doing what man says. This Christmas tree worship, Jeremiah 10 clearly spells out the situation with the Christmas tree. The only reason that you think Christmas trees are okay is because you don't read, you don't study these things, you don't look. You know, you need to look for the problems. You don't look for what everything is hunky-dory. You got to find what the problem is, because when you start compiling these problems, you're going to realize it's all the same problem, and it's all coming from the same source. Let's take a look at Vatican City. Right out front, what do we got? The eye shape looks like the iris is kind of painted on the pavement there. And looks like the 8 with 8 spokes. So we saw that before. The circle with the spokes and these eyes, these ovals. These things are not coincidences. It's an advertisement. It's like a sign outside of your place. It can be read by people that speak any language that know what those symbols mean. So let's take a look at the St. Peter's Basilica. It's got a dome over the top of it. Several domes. It's got those spheres there. It's got those who knows, lots of circles. Out in the landscape we see more of the eye symbolism. Let's take a look at some of the pictures. So there's the dome. You've got these circles on the top left, top right. So again, look at that pathway. It leads to nowhere, from nowhere. It's just a circle around a statue so that it can look like an eye from above. So here it is. That's a sundial. So, I mean, are we talking about suns? I agree that some of the circles might not be suns, but, I mean, this is a sundial. They're showing you that these different locations on it are marking seasons. Off to the left there, you see, who knows, that could be a tree of life, or it could be the sun rays. Whatever's in the front of that building is some picture, you know. I really can't make it out. Maybe a coat of arms, But depending on what side is up and down, that might be a dome over the top of it, if you're supposed to look at it from the building's perspective. Just down the road, you've got a fortress in the shape of a circle. In case you haven't read the part with Jesus Christ, that is not in it. You'll notice it's within a pentagon. So if you go around town, what do you find? Here's the Pantheon. What's it got? A dome. Dome and a triangle. There's another sundial. Never enough sundials. This is their modern offices. So what were in the windows? That first temple. Guess we've seen these before. Tend to see them everywhere, don't you? Off to the left is where the Pentagon is. Notice the middle of the star is Pentagon. If you think this is just some ancient thing, no longer happening, think again. So if you're wondering, who would trick us about the sky? It might be the people that use the stars as their symbol. Yeah, you've seen them everywhere. They love doing the inverted pentagram, but they're all pentagrams. All the countries use them. I've yet to find one that doesn't use it. If they don't use the star on their flag, they definitely have medals, police gear. So what is this about? Obviously the earth is flat. We don't live on a painting. That's why all the paintings look different. This is the playbook. This one's for evolution, but works the same either way. No matter what the story is out of the Bible, turns out science finds the opposite to be true.